Welcome to the Life with Joey Calvo Podcast. I am Joey Calvo. Before we get started, do check out our Patreon page that we have now. It's patreon.com/Life with Joey Calvo. Definitely check it out. There's a lot of interesting items on there that are up for sale that you can purchase on the Patreon page. So today we're joined by Cathy Cardio, the author of the provoking workbook, It All Matters. And it's a unique life question workbook guides you through reflection, purpose, and personal insight. So, Cathy, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Joey. Thanks for having me.
All right. And just bear with me. And then, so Cathy, tell our audience, who is Cathy Cardio? How do we get to where we're at right now?
Well, I'll tell you the reason why I wrote the book.
Okay.
I was actually very close with my grandparents, and as much as I knew and as much time I spent with them, when they passed, I realized there were so many questions that I had wished that I had asked them. And I realized that unfortunately I can't change that, but what I can do is change it going forward for my kids and grandchildren and future generations.
Okay. All right.
Motivation in writing It All Matters, the workbook.
Okay. So it was from your grandparents that led to you writing this book.
Correct.
Any other inspiration that might have came besides them?
Actually, my best friend as well. Unfortunately, she was born with a congenital heart disease, and she has one daughter. And I said, God forbid something should happen to her. I wanted her daughter to have the answers to the questions that maybe never came up in conversation.
Okay. So in the book, so explain a little bit more about the book itself. I only gave like a glance, so we didn't. So I didn't go, of course, more into the book. I'm going to leave that to you to explain, what's more in the book,
right,
in reference to it.
Well, what I like about the book is it literally takes a person from birth through death. All the questions that don't come up in a normal conversation that people really should know about. It has different categories. Each category has a different chapter, and behind not just questions, but also medical history, what you would like done after your passing, things like that. People find it comfortable to talk about, but it seems that it's easier to write those things down.
Okay. All right. So, So explain what each of these items that you have, that you broke down chapter-wise.
Right. Well, it starts out with the little things. Like I always refer to the question, do you know what happened the day you were born? The majority of people don't know that. I've only actually had one person who knew the answer to that, because apparently her dad was involved in an affair and both women wound up in the maternity ward on the same day.
Right. Right.
But other than that, people just don't know who was there. Were there any complications? Even just about the pregnancy, did your mom go to full term? If you were adopted, what's the story? What's your whole adoption story? It just gives you a lot of insight to things that had happened in the past that you wouldn't speak about.
Okay. All right. So it starts out with your birth and then goes through your childhood.
Yes.
And then so during the childhood phase, what type of questions would you pose in reference to it? I mean, the child, because the child at this point, of course, in school learning, but at the same time.
Well, what were like maybe, silly questions like what did you want to be when you grow up? But some of the questions I have in childhood and then in high school and then as an adult, because you see how obviously your perspective is going to change. Because even though you're the same person, you're a different person as well.
Right. Okay. All right. So, and then when they get to that age where they're getting ready to go to college or, move on into the adult world.
Right.
What type of questions do you pose in reference to that?
Well, basically, what did you want to be when you grew up, and when did you discover this? What made, if you did go to college, what made you decide to go to that particular college? What kind of experiences do you have? Are you friends with some of the same people, or did you lose touch with people for, various reasons?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Things like that.
Okay. And so as they're in the adult and all right, so we'll say from 18 to 35.
Right.
Okay. So now we get to 36 and we're getting into those older years.
Right.
What type of questions do you bring up that,
Well, that would be different jobs that you had. A lot of times, maybe your kids or even friends who may have met you later in life didn't know what type of jobs you had. If you're married, did you meet your spouse at work?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And,
even if you're just in a relationship, where did you meet that person?
Right.
And had you not met that person or possibly taken that job, where do you think your life would be now?
Right. Okay. So, I was going to go right back into the relationship thing. So you meet someone, and in that time that you're in the beginning of the relationship, what type of questions would you want to pose to your partner in reference to as you're building this relationship?
Right. I don't really cover what kind of questions you pose to your partner per se. It's more about I always say, first of all, when you read a book, a typical story, you might read it and then it sits on the shelf. This is actually generational, where you pass it, not only pass the book itself down to the next generation. Like if you're a grandparent, let's say, you give, you fill out the copy for your child, and then you give it to your child to fill out for their children, so that they have the answers.
Okay.
But as far as relationships, it's all about your perspective. I go into, if you were, say, married and then went through a divorce, sometimes the other person doesn't get the chance to tell their side of the story.
Right. Okay.
You're living with one particular parent and maybe didn't really know what happened or how to go by that parent's word. So it gives people a chance to express their side of the story.
Okay. All right. So, So we've covered up to up to 36 per se,
right?
And into the older years, and you're getting to the point now where time is catching up, and but let's just say, in reference to it, you don't have kids,
right?
Okay, so you're 54, you don't have kids, you're divorced,
right?
Okay,
right.
So who do what type of questions and who kind of would you question in reference to it?
God willing, your parents are still alive. You may not even want to fill out the book yourself. You may just want to give it to your parents. So many things when they were younger that you never spoke about. So it's interesting in that respect.
Okay.
And of course, if you're much younger and your grandparents are still alive, you could give them a copy.
Right.
And I like, it's very simple. It's not. The book itself is very structured, but you don't have to be.
Okay.
You can literally just open up the book to any page and answer whatever questions you'd like to. If you feel that, okay, today, maybe I had to visit the doctor and you know what, somebody should know about the medical history. You can fill out that page. If you don't like a question, you can always come back to it. There's no reason to filling it out, but continue, obviously more questions and more answers and more information, you're able to, just have all the answers.
Okay.
Answers. Some questions may not apply to you and you'll just totally skip those, of course.
Okay. So all right. So we've gone through the book per se. What's next for you? What's your next step?
Actually, I have several books in the work right now. I am right now a published author of 23 books, although the majority of them are guest books, like a funeral sign-in or a happy birthday sign-in book. I did quite a few of those, basically on every topic that I could think, Sweet 16s and stuff like that. But I do have other books in the work.
Okay. Can you explain a little bit about those other books?
That I can't, because those are private stories. So that's just kind of going to have to be a wait and see.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where can people reach out to you in reference to if they have, like questions for you, even in reference to these books?
I'm easily reachable. You can go to Cathy Cardio, exactly how it sounds. It's a CATHYCARDIO at AOL.com. I do respond to, I try to get to all of the emails that I get. And if you'd like to purchase the book, it's available on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, typical places.
Okay. All right. So give me one moment here. All right. Sure. All right. So definitely, like I said, reach out. You can reach out to Cathy definitely, directly by going to Cathy, emailing her at cathycardio@aol.com. And like I said, in reference to the books, you can purchase them on Amazon or go to Barnes and Noble, or any, or even, who knows, it might be on eBay for all you know, or
eBay. And say something about that. If anybody is considering purchasing the book, do not purchase it on eBay. They're third-party sellers and they jack the price up like double. So I appreciate if anybody's even thinking about purchasing it, but do not purchase it on eBay. It'll take twice as long and cost you twice as much.
Okay.
Because all they're doing is ordering it from Amazon, basically, and shipping it, so it takes too long and it's too much.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So definitely, like I said, reach out to Cathy that way. That's on the screen there. By emailing her directly if you have questions, or you may want to even share something with her that you might have learned in her books.
I love feedback. Positive, negative. I love feedback.
Yeah. All right. Just bear with me one moment.
Sure.
But definitely, like I said, reach out to Cathy that way. And so, like I said, that way she knows your perspective on it. And who knows, like I said, if you have something that you want to share with her that maybe she may, you might want her to share with others, that's the best way of reaching out to her in reference to it. And like I said, definitely go out and get the book via Amazon and Barnes and Noble at least. And Cathy, thank you. I'm sorry I'm running out of questions in reference to it.
I mean, for me personally, like I said, the book does take you from birth through death. And it just gives people a perspective and things that you don't talk about. I know I'm reiterating what I had just said, but there's a lot of hard questions also, like thought-provoking questions. And I say that because a lot of the feedback that I got was, it just really made me think. It wasn't difficult, as far as filling it out. Everything was there that I needed, but it really made me think, like somebody did meet their significant other at a job. And unfortunately, they did since pass, but they were married for, 20 years.
Right.
So she said, wow, I wonder if I had never taken that job, where would I?
Right.
Yep. So,
all right. But, and I thank you so much, Cathy, for coming on the podcast and sharing your story with us, and, sharing the book. It All Matters. Definitely, and there you go, and definitely get it on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. And Cathy, when you're ready, you're welcome to come back on at any time. If in the future, just reach out to me, and we'll promote whatever needs to be promoted. All right.
Good.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching the Life with Joey Calvo podcast. God bless you all.
Bye-bye.